I'm gonna stay. I want to hear this.
All right. Let me see. All right. Blue, do you mind going off or
You said, do I
Bakari
mind what?
You want me to go
going
off?
off? I got to take one person off so I can bring them on the
You,
Oh
studio
yeah,
situation.
I can go off.
I just need one person. It don't matter who.
Okay.
no, I can listen from the back end. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Matthew,
Yes, sir.
what's going on? Yeah, I found y'all trolling. These white boys, they pretty easy to get mad because their talking points are pretty regurgitated. So, I found you talking about critical race theory, and you talking about the critical race theory is racist, right?
I believe it is because I'm from an age, and I'm 38 years old, fixing to be 39, and I don't believe that you're born racist. I believe racism is taught. I grew up in a house where blacks were called the N word, and I come to a point in my life where I had to choose whether I was going to be that way or not. I grew up in a poor family, and like I say, I'm starting to get to a place where I'm having to make decisions for my family if I want them to be raised up the same way that I was raised up. My mother,
Wait. So, you telling me you got your values and all of that kind of stuff from like a bunch of racist people?
sir.
I'm saying you said you telling us that you got your values and stuff like that from a bunch of
Okay,
racist
okay,
people.
that's what I'm saying
Now,
is
I was asking you that was you. What was you saying?
and I had to make a choice one day whether I wanted to continue in that or whether I wanted to get away from that. Now, like I say, it's a choice. It's not a skin issue, it's a heart issue, I believe. Because when I was 20 years old, my my dad got killed by a drunk driver when I was 9 years old, which separated families. And my sister, at the age of 16, started dating a black man. Well, like I say, my raising taught me to hate that. Now, my sister, I got in touch,
Y'all didn't do anything to that brother, did it?
sir.
Did y'all do anything to that brother who was dating your sister? The black man was dating your sister. Did y'all do anything to
I,
him?
I didn't even I didn't even talk to the man. Just
Oh, okay.
disapproved to her. I told her that I didn't think that intertwining with the races is like it's supposed to be. I mean, it's like I say, it's like I'm taught. If you love the person, hey, yeah, I'm all for it. But like I say, the children don't have a choice in the matter, and you're putting them into a world that is not going to accept them as white, not going to accept them as black, that they're mixed. But that's like I say, I'm not trying to go into all that. But my sister, I just talked to her this year, and we reunited, and she said, well, how do you feel about the the race issue now? And I told her, I said, it's not up to me anymore. I said, that's God don't see the color of your skin. God sees your heart.
I mean, all right. So
And
like,
I
what
know
is the problem with race
it's
theory?
into it,
Critical race theory.
but critical race theory, like you're saying, people are taught to be racist, and the people that are taught, they can choose whether to accept it. Just like going to church and hearing about Jesus, they're teaching you salvation, they're teaching you eternity, and whether whether people believe it's a theory or not, you have a choice whether to accept it or not accept it. Now, me being racist, I've got a little boy that's 5 years old. He met his cousin for the first time, and he's mixed for the first time in his whole life, and they played outside and loved each other. But that's because I'm not teaching my son to hate a man because of the color of his skin. But it is taught. It is.
What is taught to teach you to hate the color of your skin? What is taught? Because you're like not really saying anything. You're just like giving us your backstory. We don't really care about your backstory. It's like,
Well,
what
see,
is your problem with critical race theory?
that like I say, you sit around. I've been in a black church before, just to experience it. And I was sitting in the back, and they're teaching how that they was teaching from behind the pulpit that how uh, the white man has got it made, and then they're sitting there trying to teach you need to use this system. This system was made by the white man for the white man, but this is how you get
Dude,
past
none
it.
of you saying that has nothing to do with critical race theory. Like, what is your problem with critical race theory? You're giving us
Define
like long,
define
like
critical race theory.
what?
Your definition of critical race theory.
Well, according to a video that we was commenting on, I'm not sure which video it was. It was the Ben Shapiro one.
It was where Ben Shapiro was talking to Nate,
Right.
I believe.
So critical race theory is basically the study of racism and legal structures, pretty much like how racism is a part of all parts of society. So, what is your problem with saying that?
It's not. That's what I'm getting at. It's not. I don't believe it's there. I believe you got a man that's got a badge. I mean, are you talking about in law enforcement? Or are you talking about in in politics as far as government?
What year did racism end?
Racism will never end.
So what are you talking about? You don't think it's a racist system? You're kind of contradicting it. So you do believe critical race theory is true then?
I no. I believe that a person can be racist. I mean, they can sit there and whether it's in front of your face, behind your back, racism is still racism, right?
But see, I think your problem is you think that we care about you individually. Like you personally, I don't care anything about your opinions or anything. Like that's a level of arrogance that a lot of Europeans seem to have. That you think we care about what you think individually. Now, unless you like Dylan Roof or something, I don't care what you think individually. What we're talking about is a system, a structure that has been put in place for hundreds of years. Now, are you saying that is true or not?
Okay. You're talking about from the time that this country started.
Before this country started, but okay, you can start at the start of the country.
I mean,
But
start with this.
I'm talking since the
America,
doctrine of discovery.
a land where we have this
there.
freedom to talk and say, not have to be scared to what we're gonna say or the consequences of what we're saying right now. There's no consequences other than maybe if we were face to face, maybe a fight breaking out, there'd be consequences to that. But as far as speech goes, we have the freedom of speech, correct? Because this
Say
country
whatever you
was
want
found.
to say, but say it to the point, man. Like we there's nothing blocking you from saying whatever you want, but you're just filibustering. And I want y'all to pay attention to everything that he's doing right now,
That's a
because he has yet to answer the question that he has come on to talk about. So go ahead and
okay.
get to the point.
What's the question?
What
Okay. Let me.
is your problem with? See, they like to say we have the lower IQs, but I don't know. What is your problem with?
I believe.
Race theory?
I don't think that. I think that if a person can put the time in, put the studying in, anybody can be anything they want to be.
What?
You don't think so?
What is your problem with critical race theory?
is that it's I don't believe it's true. I believe it's a theory. It's not true.
You don't think racism is proven? You just said a minute
Well,
ago it's proven, but you don't.
racism, critical race theory, it's two separate things because you can be a racist person and then a person that's not racist can abuse the system.
You said racism is not in the system.
Well, I mean, it's in a person. It's not in the system. It is in a person.
So there's no never been racist laws or anything like that. All right, hold on. I'm gonna let you say something real quick. I don't want him to think you jumping and try to run for lead. I'm gonna let you say something, but so
I mean, I'm getting a hold of what y'all are wanting now.
what?
I said I am getting a hold of the question, the actual topic that y'all are wanting. Okay, so fear. Maybe it's fear that brought them laws into play. Like you're talking about, like in Mississippi when people would say colors in the bag, no white only. That's the laws that you're talking about, right?
Dude, I'm talking about racist systems that is still in existence right now. You know, Wells Fargo just got caught up for redlining like a couple of years ago. Did you know that? What are you gonna say? Go ahead and with your. I know you're trying not to use your usual talking points, but go ahead, please. Because you're not really talking about anything. You're not really saying anything. What's up, Pledge? And Road to Mars. I can't really let you on because it's full right now.
Okay, okay. Can you hear me, Focus? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Matthew, can you hear me?
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
don't call him sir either.
Okay, Matthew, listen, man. Like, we are being pretty respectful towards you. I'm from Haiti originally. I hang out like for almost more than half of my life, almost 30 years. I've been around white people. Okay,
Okay,
the
do you live
problem is
out of
the
the bad
let's
side of Haiti?
Matthew, listen, please. Um, please listen.
No, I'm asking a question. Because
No, let me. Okay,
we
No,
go
have
ahead.
been
and
very
hold on, Pledge. Hold on, Pledge. And I'm doing this because this is a lesson. Y'all need to learn how they
Right.
operate. The point is to cause confusion. It is never to direct the answer the question directly. It is to cause you and to get you scrambling, to get you chasing to their point. But they don't even realize a lot of the times the point that they lead into is even dumber because it leads them
say
into
you're
more
right.
of a trap because they don't understand their own history. All they can do is regurgitate what they've been heard. He can only say a few talking points, and he's trying to avoid saying anything. So saying any of those talking points. So he's really saying nothing right now, and he will not answer the question. But go ahead, real quick, Les. Don't be too long.
Okay, okay. I won't. Matthew, listen to me real quick. Megan Kelly from Fox News, Governor DeSantis, they passed laws. People are talking. Listen, certain white American, European, they are ashamed of what they've done to black people. Okay? They don't want to talk about critical race theory anymore. They want to hide that under the rug. And that's just facts. You guys are embarrassed about that. And that's just fact. I saw you dancing around the questions and stuff like that. And that's that. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say, man. I yield the mic.
Hey, can I speak right quick, Forecast? Forecast.
Go ahead, Bakar.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you something. I think y'all giving white people way too much credit. Them motherfuckers ain't embarrassed about shit they did. Why the hell would they be embarrassed? As soon as you got on here, Pledge, with all due respect, you have never called me, Forecast, or Dwarf, sir. You said Matthew, sir. Why in the hell
No,
would they be embarrassed?
he
Them
said,
bastards know
don't
what they
call me
did.
sir. He said,
Them bastards.
don't call me sir. That's what
Look,
he said.
them bastards know exactly what they did, and they want to hold it up. It's our responsibility to crush it. He ain't avoiding the question. He is what he is. That's what they do. They think they're superior to you. They think they're smarter than you. So he want to talk around what you've been talking about. It's not avoiding. It's about him thinking he gonna use some type of superior intelligence, a superior intellect. Y'all giving them too much credit. They not embarrassed. If they were embarrassed, J. Edgar Hoover building wouldn't be there. All these statues wouldn't have still been up. They not embarrassed about nothing they did. They know exactly what they did. And when you think they're embarrassed, they got you having sympathy for them, saying you know some that's embarrassed. No, none of them embarrassed. Why would they embarrass? Why would they be embarrassed for what they did and they still prosper from it? So with him trying to ignore critical race theory, with him trying to ignore certain things, that's not embarrassment.
Okay, I agree. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not embarrassed. I didn't do nothing wrong. You have to do something wrong in order to be embarrassed.
Hey, are you in the white middle class?
I would say yes. I would say
Okay, now how was the white middle class built?
I mean, I'm living in a double wide trailer.
No, I said how was the white middle class? I didn't say what kind of trailer you're living in. I said what kind of how was the white middle class built? You just said you were. Now you're probably gonna take it back. You know what I'm saying?
No. I started off flipping burgers, and I didn't want to live the way that I grew up with 21 dogs in the
How
house.
was the white middle class built?
For me, it was built by my hard work. Now, as far as talking about how the past make it up,
it wasn't your hard work, it wasn't your hard work, dude. How was the white middle class built? And it was not your work.
Okay, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, if you're going,
it was built off that very handouts that you think, and you wonder why you need critical race. You need critical race theory more than any of us on this panel, in this chat, because you don't even know how the white middle class is built. So how could you be on here opposing anybody, opposing anything, especially when you don't even have the courage to stand on anything that you've said thus far? And I want you to see how much courage they actually have when they come into the date. Their whole thing is to cause confusion. So again, how was the white middle class built?
I don't know what you want me to say, boss man.
Okay, well, you say yours is built off your hard work. What kind of work you do, if you don't mind me asking?
I am a technician, overhead doors, like rolling steel doors, service doors, where you go in and out of warehouses, the doors that roll up and down.
Garage doors mainly.
Yeah.
Basically garage doors.
Yes, sir.
Did you have to go to school for that?
No, sir, I did not.
You learned on the job. How long did it take you to become a supervisor?
5 years.
5 years. How many black people at that company been working there way longer than you? Probably know more than you, but ain't a supervisor yet.
None.
None?
None.
Any black supervisors there?
There is no black people working, but because that they haven't been given the opportunity to climb, to actually do the work. I live in Texas, and this is hot work. This is dangerous work. We work off the ground, and the people that I have worked with, blacks, they're scared of heights.
The blacks, you mean black people, right?
Black people, yes.
Okay.
And they're scared of heights.
So your work is too dangerous and too high for black people. So the few black people you have met,
the few black people that I have worked with, they get scared and don't want to. They want, hey man, take me down to the ground. I don't want to be up here. And
now
that's not as far as a race, but that's a personal issue. But it's not like my boss man sitting there saying don't hire blacks. The blacks are not coming and wanting to apply for the job with us.
Now, see, I'm gonna show you something, right? The thing with me is, I don't care if you don't ever see the problem. In all honesty, because I really don't give a damn about you. I don't think about y'all. Don't hold a conversation with you. But I'm gonna show you something, right?
Yes, sir.
No black people working there. You say black people scared of heights.
I'm not saying.
Wait. That's what you. But actually, what you said, you didn't say black people. What you said was the blacks. They're scared of heights.
He wanted to say the niggas. That's what he wanted to say.
Blacks. They're scared of the work is too hard for them.
I didn't say too hard.
Yeah, that's what. No, you start explaining why black people, as you said, the blacks didn't work there, right? So all of a sudden, when black people don't work for free for people like you in that company that you work for, all of a sudden, hard work is too hard for black people. But your folks got rich off the hard work of black people while they was working for free.
My
But when they
grandmother.
had to get paid, all of a sudden the work got too hard. All of a sudden, the blacks, as you say, were afraid of heights. So the whites make excuses, right? Because the whites know that African descent people on a level playing field is going to be better. You understand? So that was, since you call us the blacks, you're the whites. So the whites know that we're going to be better. And what you're doing now, like I said, is constantly making excuses. You thought you were intelligent, but then you say stuff. Then you go back to the same old 1880 stuff. The work is too hard. It's too this. How many Mexicans do y'all have work there?
Probably about 50.
Oh, probably about.
Hey,
See, think of
hey,
watch
what?
this. Watch this. It's only too hard for black people. I'm sorry, in his words, according to the whites, the job he do is only too hard for the blacks.
Well, it
Hey,
may be because, like
hey, what
they
company you work for?
choice. It's not a the opportunity is there for him to work. The opportunity is there for anybody to work. We have to get background check. We have to
Hey,
pass
what
drug test.
which
We
company you
have
work for? If we wanted to apply, which company you work for?
Overhead Door Company of Beaumont, Texas.
Okay.
That's kind of close to
Overhead
Houston,
company
ain't
in
it?
Beaumont,
Yes,
Texas, y'all.
Close to the coast, right?
yeah, it's pretty
Kind of
close.
like in between Houston and the coast, I guess, close to something like that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, let me say this because it's already late, and I probably like we had to set up a show earlier. So like you taking up for your criminal thug ancestors, you know what I'm saying, and all the terror they caused, and you acting like that you ain't got no responsibility in none of it, even though you sit here lounging in all of it, and you have the audacity to say that it's racist for people to teach the truth about history, like about how y'all worship pedophiles and like rapists and all of that kind of stuff, and your
I don't do.
granddaddy and all of that stuff probably was a criminal himself. Like, I know you want to defend all of that. So again, I'm gonna ask you, what is your problem with critical race theory?
Okay, because it all started in with whites taking a boat over to Africa. Correct?
And
And
Go ahead, man.
their people chased them down and sold them
all right, so
to
because I
us.
hear this all the time. This is what I'm trying to say, because this was the points he was trying not to say, because I told y'all they all got the same talking points. Now, if you're not just regurgitating on something that you heard, please name the African tribe, leader, or nation that sold their people.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Tell me the name of the man that bought the
No,
first
no,
slave.
no, please, because you just made a statement, and because you
I
say it
don't
like
know.
it's fact, and it's something that you
You
heard.
know what? I'm gonna tell you some. I'm gonna tell you some, Matthew, part of the Whites clan. Read a book called The Slave Trade. Now, when you read the book called The Slave Trade, you're gonna get names and you're gonna get what people did, what you were just talking about.
Who's
The
the author?
Portuguese documented all this. So, because I'm really getting
Yeah, don't.
tired of,
Hey, Bakari,
I'm
don't
getting
help him.
tired of
Don't
y'all.
help him. Out,
No,
because I
no,
want.
I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna help him. So the next time he spew this ignorant, this stupidity that he's spewing, this ignorance that he's spewing, right? So when they documented it, and when somebody tell you to name the African, I want you to go to that book called The Slave Trade. You can probably Google it now and see what your ancestors said about black people selling black people, the Portuguese. It was so, because the lie been going on so long, even some of our people believe it. So I'm not just I'm not helping him. I'm helping our people. When the Portuguese documented, they were in Africa. And yes, people were selling African slaves for, what was it? For trinkets and alcohol and stuff like that. But take a guess who it was. It was not African people. It was y'all cousins, them nasty ass Arabs. And y'all on my list too. I know y'all work together. So y'all on my list. So the next time you want to start spewing nonsense, open up a book and read it. I know y'all didn't have to get that education like they telling black people to get. Y'all can just have your 9th grade education, and before you know it, they'll have someone like me who have a degree. I have an associate degree in business, somebody who been in the military, somebody who CDL, who has done a whole lot of stuff in his life, still own a business. They'll have somebody like me at age 48 gonna tell me, some little white boy who 22 years old dropped out of school in the 10th grade, that he's my supervisor. But see, I'm the type of black person, I don't get down with that.
Hey,
So
and
you don't have to read, because you don't have to. But see, since we have to read, we enjoy reading and learning. See, you can just spew nonsense. Worshiping Robert E. Lee, slave owner, probably rapist. George Washington, slave owner,
yeah,
rapist,
yeah.
and even like little boys.
Yeah, hold on, Bakari, hold on, because you know I don't want to, because he ready to die on the first point already. So you know this is just his first talking point. You know what I'm saying? And you know it just shows like you know their level of. So I mean, if you do you want to even keep going
I
with
don't
that
like
point,
to
or you
read.
want? Well,
I
it
mean, are you
wasn't.
basing off of other white people? Because if you look, I mean, I have a very good library here of several different books. I do like reading,
So why don't you know anything then?
but because, like you say, that's not important to me. What's important to me is making a living for my family and making a
But what
better
is
life
not
for my family.
what is not important for you to not spew stuff that you don't know what you're talking about?
Okay, but slavery started before America. It's throughout the Egyptians owned people.
All right, so name another group of people that was like cutting people's eyeballs out for reading, or castrating them and then fighting over over their private parts. Name another civilization that ever did that.
The Hebrews.
The Hebrews fought each other over
They were
castration and stuff like that.
they were throwing people in
They got people eyeballs out for reading and stuff.
I imagine they was, yeah. If they were trying to better themselves, read.
No, only like psychopaths think that that's normal behavior.
I mean, they killed the firstborns of the family because they didn't want the people right.
But y'all killed every born of whatever family. That's the point. Which other group passed laws making it legal to separate? And this was in the North, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So you can't say the North stuff. Which other nation passed a law making it okay to separate children from the mother? Which other group has? You know, I mean, we can name laws all day. There's been no other group, and you can't bring documentation to prove anything that you're saying. So I'm not even going to ask for that. But
hey, Matthew.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, I want to go back to what you said about the blacks. They can't do their work, their jobs. You currently don't work with any blacks. So do
No,
you truly okay? So do you truly believe that black people are so dumb, which they're not, so incompetent and afraid of heights? But when Brother Bakari is asking you how many Mexican you work with, you said you work with 50 of them.
15.
15. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, 15. Now that's a lot. Now, if you really do some homework, I mean, like, you know, the traffic lights, you know who invented that traffic lights? It wasn't whites, blacks. You do know that, right?
No, I did not.
You know, you did not know that. Okay. So, like the peanut butter. I mean, I'm telling you, man, you critical.
For somebody to have a lot of books, you sure don't know anything. Like,
Well, exactly.
I don't know what you want me to know.
No.
Because,
Here's the
like,
thing.
in my interest to learn your culture, to learn what black man invented what.
Let me, let me ask you something. Let me tell you something. Why do you people have a problem with Colin Kaepernick taking knee? And hang on a second. Just let me finish. Why do you have a problem with him taking a knee? And on January the 6th, when your people that look like you, sir, went in and like shit on you like most sacred place, okay? The Capitol building. Do you see like the hypocrisy? Do you see the level of insanity, sir? Go ahead
Across
and talk to me. Talk
across
to us.
the board, across the board, yes, that is hypocrisy. Now, whether Trump insurrected that or caused that, it was still the person's choice to go and do what they done. Now
Right.
it
Talk,
was led by somebody, because everybody's not gonna sit there and say, let's go do this.
talk
Somebody
to
come up with the idea, and then you had followers.
Okay, talk to me about Colin Kaepernick, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, I served in the military for 8 years, from 1999 to 2006.
Hey, which country did y'all invade while you was in there?
Well,
He's got you too. He's got
we
got him.
went through Iraq
Oh, so damn, you lost that war
for
then.
Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You lost, so go ahead.
So
Both
watch
wars.
this, right? When y'all was talking to him, did y'all hear what he said? You said when you told him he don't know nothing, right? And he said, no, I just don't know what you want me to know. It's
Oh
not
no,
in
I
my
no.
wait a minute, Bolivar.
Let him
It's
go.
not in my best interest to learn your culture. So why are you here then? Why it's not in your best interest to learn. So why did you decide to come to the Forecast Radio channel and try to cause confusion? Because it's not, because you said it's not in your best interest to learn.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I told
I
him
didn't
to
say best
come talk
interest. I said
about the
I
critical
want.
race theory thing. You know what I'm saying? But even though he didn't do that at all, but you can go ahead.
No, but I'm talking, no, did you invite him to come to your chat?
We got caught up on a reply little message.
Forecast, did you invite him to come in the chat?
Oh well, yeah. I said anybody who
No,
want to
but
come
did
in.
you, when you set up your show, did you send him the show and
Oh
tell him to
no,
watch?
no.
So the point that I'm making is, see, you got to listen, because they just lie. But if you listen, you can catch them in their lies. He's not interested in learning about
Ex-
black people. But you
exactly.
are here in the chat with black people talking black stuff. So if you're not interested, why are you here? That's the question I'm asking.
Well,
Let
okay.
him answer, Oliver.
to better learn the way of thinking. The
So
reason
you got,
is it
so all
because
of a sudden you got interested.
you hate me because I'm white?
I don't hate you. You never heard me say I hate no. I don't even think about white people enough to hate them.
Yeah, hold on, because
Then what
y'all
purpose
like to say that.
you on this?
Let me speak on that real quick, because y'all like to say that, because that's a level of arrogancy that I'm talking about. You really think that you are so important that somebody actually hates you when we don't care about you one bit. We did not come over there and kidnap you to come build the country because you couldn't do it yourself. Y'all was like being cannibals and all of that stuff. We don't go out in the street looking to harass you, looking to go into your communities. We don't do any of that stuff. And a level of arrogancy that y'all have to talk about, oh, do you hate me? Do you hate me? No, that's you speaking on a reflect. That's you projecting how you really feel.
And yeah, you're right.
Oh, there you go.
Matthew,
Yes.
you said you serve in the military. Let's go back to the Colin Kaepernick question. Here's my thing. Do you know the guy that to told him the most honorable thing to do is to kneel? That's what he said. Why does that bother you, sir, and you people? Talk to us.
Okay. The only reason why he was able to kneel is because of the country that he lives in, that most people run down the road and y'all hate because of the foundation it was built
Your
upon
Dude,
computer
I
broke
may
just
up.
be
Say that
wrong.
again. You start sounding choppy, Matthew. Say it again. I couldn't understand what you said.
and yeah, and leave that word hate out of it, because I just broke that down. I know y'all got that arrogance. It's hard that y'all got that low IQ that y'all project. don't say hate, because we don't care
All
about
right.
y'all one bit. Go ahead, Matthew.
The foundation
Did you freeze up? Sound like you froze up.
we agreed.
Go ahead and
Am I
repeat
better?
yourself, Matthew.
Yeah, I think Matthew, you freezing up or something.
Go ahead and get your signal straight.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead, Matthew. Go ahead.
Him taking a knee, if he would have done that in any other country, he would have been killed on sight. If he
You
would have went
liar.
to
Liar.
Hold
How do
on,
you
let
know
him.
that?
Hold on, let him get it. Let him finish this, because I don't want him to think like, oh,
How do you know that? Are you familiar with other civilizations and cultures?
a white man went to Singapore and painted some spray paint, and he got beat for it.
Are you, again, I asked the question, are you familiar with other cultures?
Somewhat, yes, sir.
There-
I mean, I'm not a doctor in it, but I do know the things that I've
So basically, you're assuming.
assuming, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I got a book since you have books. Oh, can I just add one thing? I'll be very brief because I don't really have a lot.
Time, dog. Go ahead.
I have one book for you to read, and it's probably the smallest book that you might have in your collection if you have it. It also happens to be available at Walmart for $5.49. There's also an audio book available on Audible. It's a very, very good read. It's also got pictures in it. Are you interested in it?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm learning.
Okay, the book is called 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro with Complete Proof by J.A. Rogers.
Does it have a reason why?
I'm not gonna get into to anything else here tonight. And you don't have to promise me anything or anything like that. But if you are purporting to be a reader of books, if you do not have that book in your collection, I will implore you to get it and read it. Period.
Okay, it says Brother Dolly Day, right?
No, sir. If you sound out the phonics, it says dog. D-A-H-L.
Nah, they do that kind of stuff on purpose, like Muslim and stuff like that. They like to be disrespectful like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You know.
And I am a Moorish American Muslim, sir.
Okay.
And I say, sir, just to keep this respectful and let you know that this is going to be a respectful conversation when you are dealing with me. Are we clear?
And that's, yes, sir, I am. And I understand the way
Thank
that you're
you.
is because
Thank
you're
you.
taught to
Thank
talk
you.
that way.
Thank you. Excuse me?
Is it what? Thought to talk. What?
Wait.
Repeat what you said.
Excuse me?
Hold on, y'all. Let him
Excuse
talk.
I'm unclear with your phrasing. Would you say that again, please?
Because you're taught to talk to people that way. You're taught to take the lead and be respectful and don't let nobody else crap on you or talk bad to you. And I respect you for that. But you don't have to sit there and tell me I'm doing this to be respectful.
Your respect is not of my concern tonight, sir.
Well, then why should yours
What
be?
I'm going to tell you is,
It's a
if
double
you are
standard.
purporting to be a reader, I would suggest you read that book.
I'll look at it, see if it's
Well, look, I'm gonna be
Okay.
real with you.
Let me ask him. I'm sorry. I thought y'all were done. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead. I thought
I'm through. I'm through with that.
Yeah,
But you know,
Let
I'm
me ask
still
you
here
one
to
question,
I'll participate in
Forecast.
the conversation.
So Matthew,
y'all, hold on.
since you over here in the Forecast Radio channel, something that you are not interested in, but you're still here, which confuses some people. What's your? You got all those books. So what do you like to read? What's your expertise?
Okay. My expertise is the Bible.
The Bible.
All my books here.
Oh my God. Oh, because I was wondering if you wanted to debate on something. Because I was gonna say, you could set this up on the Forecast where one day you come through. I thought because you had all those books, so all those are religious books. But
F.W. Borum. There's some AA Way of Life. I got a couple dictionaries. Jack London, Family Devotions, Matthew Henry. I've got, I mean, just several books that I like reading about.
Do you have any pictures of Jesus?
I don't know what Jesus looked like.
But you
Why
okay? Would you
not?
consider yourself a Christian?
I do consider myself a Christian, yes, sir. But
Okay, so in
have
your church, what color? What do y'all have Jesus as a? What would you say Jesus was a black man?
I would say no. I would
Oh, because
say
you can't.
a white
Why?
man.
Because you can't see. You'll say he's what?
He's not a white man either. He's
A
an
Middle Eastern. Is that what you're gonna say? Middle Eastern, right? That's what all white
They
people said.
they're white people too. Arabs ain't nothing but white people. For the record, that's those
okay.
people.
Moses' wife was black,
They're
And they didn't.
Caucasian.
You know what? You're right. Moses' wife was black, and his family didn't like the fact that he married a black woman.
but he
See,
still
you ain't the only one. You're
married.
not the only one that read 24 pages out the book.
Well, listen, I wanted to go back to have you because I just want to go back to this again, sir. Um, Again, out of the respect what my brother said. Um, you told me the reason you have an issue with Colin Kaepernick, kneeling because X, Y, and Z. Why was that so disrespectful?
You've got people that are giving their life for the freedom of this country. And you
Okay.
respect to stand up for the national anthem.
Okay. But you went, listen, sir, you went
Hold on.
to fight for, let me finish with this. Excuse me. Like you went and fight for us so we can do that. So we can do, so we can freedom of speech.
Have
You
your
did
choice,
that for us.
right?
So,
But
so,
that's
so no,
hey,
no,
so
no string attached. No string attached. But you people can go in the Capitol building and destroy everything, stole laptop, and just get slapped in the wrist, right?
if that's what happened,
It's
yeah.
not if sir. And then another question, and I'm just gonna sit back and
What
and
branch of
watch
the
you talk.
military were you in,
And then
Matthew?
hang on a second, brother
All right.
Bakari. Hang on one second,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, hang on one second. Here's my thing. All the cities, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, all those things. Let me tell you something, brother. Okay? I know in your mind all those thugs. I know. I know your lingo. The thugs in Chicago, all those people, all those thugs. What is? Why can't What is the problem? Do you know who's causing all those problems in Chicago, in Houston? Who's causing all those problems? Is it black people's fault?
I don't know because I'm not there. But I
You
read
you're not there?
okay, but I read a comment on the chat that says, let's see here. It said something.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay,
he
no, no, no.
dropped out of
We'll
the
wait for him.
But
the
yeah,
the leader
look.
the leader of the whites fell off.
Who did that, man? Come
Yeah,
on now.
hold on. I'm gonna see if he come back on, and then if
Yeah,
not, I gotta get Rose and
we'll
Barb
wait.
on. They've been waiting.
Hey,
All
focus.
right.
You're going long tonight, brother.
Hey, yeah, all right. Should be coming back on. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say,
Okay, look,
I'm
come
back.
this is
on.
what
I'm
we're gonna
back.
do.
I wasn't trying to run from nothing.
All right.
Yeah. This is what we're gonna do because this white boy
All
actually
good.
had the courage to come up when many of his
Yep.
peers would
I'm back.
turn
I'm
and
back
run.
if you want to let me
So
finish.
well, I'll let you. Well, I might let you finish when I finish. You know what I'm saying? So like this white boy has the courage to come on here, so I want to let him try to get what he says in, but we got to get to the point because it's already getting late. So you know what I'm
Right.
saying, we're gonna get back to the point of critical race theory because he's
Yeah,
supposed to
because I
prove me
got to go to
wrong,
work
and
in the
this
morning.
conversation's been through everything but that. So what you got to say?
All right. I read a comment. I was trying to find the comment, but it cut me off of here about Meridian, Mississippi having shootings. Does anybody remember what happened in 2005?
When that white boy shot up that school, yeah.
No, no, sir. Katrina happened, and
Mm-hmm.
it broke the dam at
I
New
was thinking about
Orleans.
the school shooting. My bad.
Okay.
Okay.
And where did all them them refugees, evacuees, whatever you
You
want
mean
to call
black
them.
people? Black people, right? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, hold
It
on,
was a
hold on.
majority black, but there was
Let him
whites
finish.
as
Let him
well.
finish. Don't cut him
But
off.
they
Let him
went to
finish.
Meridian, Mississippi, and you've got
Refugees apply to foreigners, so he's got a Freudian slip of some sort
to
of
a
some.
And you know that's what the news was calling them, refugees. That was on the news, CNN, and all that bullshit. Yes, you're right. It does apply to foreigners, but I'm just saying, Dolph, that's how disrespectful the news was to our people.
right.
That's what they were calling them.
And they moved into Meridian, and they're 10, 11, 12 years old at the time. Now, how long has that been? It's been 16 years ago. So now we got 27, 28, 29-year-old people that have flooded Meridian, and Meridian is mostly a most black community during that
Mm-hmm.
time. So, like I say,
A lot of
you
history there.
had New Orleans, which is called Sin City. No, that's Vegas. New Orleans is just god awful place
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
of the things that happen down there, the lifestyle that those people
Too
choose
many
to live.
blacks, huh?
Well,
Hold on,
there's
Paulette.
cases.
Let
I
him
got
finish.
family that
And
live in
the
Louisiana.
thing is, you gotta let them finish because every time they talk, they put their foot in their mouth. Watch, let's watch. Let him finish what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And like I say, crime rate went up. It's not because they're black; it's because of the way that they were raised.
Oh,
I told you.
It,
Let him
it, it
finish.
had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with diminished opportunities, right?
Wait,
Nothing to
wait,
do with
no.
that, right?
Let him finish because I want
No,
you
I
to
just want to add on.
elaborate what's going on in
Like
like
I say,
somewhere
if
like
they go sign up on welfare and they get dependent upon the country, on the government, and they're getting a check for $500 a week,
hey hey
who's
Matthew,
gonna
who
turn
wait,
that away?
hell no, because like notice y'all, he knows things that he wants to know and doesn't know other things, but he really does know them because they like try to act like. So Matthew, who is the who gets welfare the most? Which group gets welfare the most, Matthew?
The people that apply for it the most.
no.
I see. Which people apply the most?
I would say blacks.
You would say
You would be
black people
wrong.
get welfare more.
I would say they do, yeah.
Oh,
Because
you
I've
don't.
tried myself trying to get food stamps and stuff, but I make too much money.
Yeah, we all on here make too much money, Matthew. But you would be wrong about that. You know what I'm saying? It would
Hey,
definitely be
Matthew.
those drug addicts in West Virginia and places like that. All them red
West
states. Y'all so
Virginia
stuck
being
on the
white.
Republican plantation. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't get off the damn Republican plantation. Y'all don't know better. So busy in everybody else's business that you don't even know that your own corporation that you call the government, and those criminals that you call founding fathers was using people like you, Matthew, because you said that you was a poor white person, which I wouldn't doubt. A lot of y'all are poor whites and don't know no better and live in trailer parks and all of that kind of stuff. But you think other people get food stamps when it's really your group getting it the most. You talk about affirmative action when it's white women benefiting from affirmative action the most, more than anybody. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? Your group had got because I asked you earlier, how is the white middle class built? Because I know your talking point is welfare and all of that stuff. But guess how your middle class was built? Straight welfare. You know what I'm saying? It was built during the handout after the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? Well, black families got excluded because that's a part of critical race theory. But they know all of this stuff. And I want y'all to understand they know all of this stuff. You don't have to convince them about racism. They're here
Right.
to practice it and preach it because they got convinced that he got convinced that if he's better than the highest black person, then he's better no matter how poor he is, and he will give his last dollar to defend America. And now, which is Trump, who got kicked out of office. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
he's dumb as a box of rocks. You know what I'm saying? Almost as dumb as George Bush. You know what I'm saying? And he would give his last dollar to defend that, and he don't even know that he's being used the way that he thinks that black people are being used by the Democrats. He's on
Amen.
the Republican plantation right now. Like,
Amen.
aren't you, Matthew? You on
No,
the Republican plantation?
I believe that Trump done a lot of good things,
Are you
and
on the Republican plantation? You can't even say you're a Republican. You can't answer that
no,
question.
I don't even vote.
No. So you didn't vote for
I,
Trump?
I don't have a point of view as far as I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican.
Did
I
you
look
vote for Trump?
Did I vote?
for Trump?
No, I do not vote
Okay.
because I don't think that it matters what if I voted for the man, somebody else is going to make the decision who goes into office. We've
What do
already
you mean somebody else gonna make the decision?
yes, it's somebody else's decision, not ours.
Oh, I agree with you there.
But one thing for
Yeah,
sure, Matthew, it's gonna be some white folk making their decision, and they're gonna make sure y'all gonna be all right.
yeah.
You understand?
So,
So,
And but you know what? But
Matt,
you're doing. But I'll give you this. I respect the fact that you came on here and you stood up for your people the way you supposed to. You should. Now answer this question, yeah or nay, right? Do you think are you okay with Robert E. Lee statues being removed?
Honestly, no, because it represents some sort of history of the
wait,
way
wait, wait, wait. I know you ain't just saying represents history. You gonna cut?
Yes,
it
yes.
does. I mean,
Forecast, let him. Oh,
Stop
I know
it,
this your
bro.
channel. I'm
Come
sorry,
on.
Forecast. I apologize. This your channel. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, that was a good question. I was like, no, I can't believe what he just said. I can't believe he said he wanted the history of Robert E. Lee, which lasted for 5 years, to stand, but he don't want to learn nothing about Black history like 3, 4, 500 years. He don't want to know that. But I just
You,
found it,
you,
kind of
okay,
hypocritical to
you
say
know
that.
something, old Matthew? I'm finna tell you something, right? You say you don't understand critical race theory. Y'all don't want that taught in school and whatnot. You don't want Robert E. Lee's statue moved. I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't want his statue removed either. Cause guess what? I know ain't none of y'all bastards embarrassed about nothing you did. And I'm glad you willing to say
and
that
you
you
didn't. His statue was there anyway.
watch this. But I'm glad that you say that represent some type of history. So at least you're telling the truth about you and the whites. You're the leader of the whites tonight. So
so,
at least you're telling the truth about the whites. I
so,
don't want to remove either because what the bastards want to do. See, we talking about critical race and they don't want it taught in school. We
They're taking
fighting that.
away
But
these,
every time
taking
they
away
move
all
a
these
statue
racist
in front of
statues,
our face,
racist
they
discrimination.
are hiding their history. They are removing their history in
I'll agree
plain
with you on
sight.
that. I'll agree with you on that
They're
because
removing it. And I
you
don't
take
want them
away
bastards to
ever thinking it
ever
becomes
get rid of that
racist.
shit. Because then they're going to try to teach my grandkids that this did not happen. It absolutely happened. And the leader of the whites is proud of Robert E. Lee's slave owning history. What he did, he's proud of that. And that is okay. You know who Shaka Zulu is? I'm proud of his history. You know the Zulus are in South Africa? You know
he
Nat
doesn't
Turner, I'm
know.
proud of his history. You ever heard of New Africa, Mississippi? Those people that kicked a whole lot of white slave owners' ass, whole lot of Indians' ass in the 1700s and created a free society. I'm proud of that history. See how you proud? And I'm proud of that history. And I want to run across some of these Robert E. Lee lovers because I'm a lover of New Africa. And maybe we can have a conversation in person. Or maybe we can just
Um,
do another good debate on here. But I'm glad
so,
for you, Matthew.
yeah. So, Matthew, I know that in your mindset, Matthew, you talking about crimes. You talking when you hear crimes, you hear thugs, you automatically think it's black people. Let me tell you something, okay? The biggest gang, the biggest thugs, you know, are you people, okay? And that's facts. And you do know that. And I know you're proud of that, okay? Like, here's the thing though. What do we have? We don't control anything, but yet you deflect, you blame everything on us though. So it's our fault. What do you have to say about that?
All right.
It's
Hold on,
your fault.
Matthew. Hold on,
And
Matthew.
what's your fault?
Look, hold
Don't
on,
treat
Matthew.
it.
I'm gonna let Matthew go ahead and say everything he got to say, and then you know, I don't want to be on here too much longer, so I'm gonna let him say. We'll set up something else, and I ain't trying to like if you want to put me on a panel with a bunch of your top scholars or whatever, and try to jump me or whatever, you're welcome to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I can crush all of y'all, but go ahead, Matthew. Say everything you got to say.
All right.
Go ahead, answer my question, Matthew. Come on.
Oh, everything was breaking up.
Oh no, I was just saying though, like I know in your mind, when you hear thugs, when you hear crimes, you always automatically blame it to black people. Okay, but
No,
I'm
there's
saying
white. No, there's white trash just as much as
no.
there's
I'm just
black.
saying that the biggest thugs in the world are you people. Okay, for an example, okay, you in Africa, you in Haiti right now. Okay, you people in Haiti are stealing everything. You think that's ethical, sir?
Do you mean the missionary that we're going out there and preaching the gospel to the
Preaching the gospel and raping little boys, raping little girls. You talk. Let me say it. Hillary
people that I
Clinton,
with
Bill
and all that?
Clinton, George Bush. They've been down there since 1974. They are stealing all the minerals and stuff like that. Okay, so let's not talking. Let's not talk these little silly games. Okay, listen. You in control of Chicago. You in control. You people in control of Detroit. You people in control of everywhere right now. When until we come to power.
Until
What do you have to say
until
about that?
power. Is that what you said?
No, no. What do you have to say about all that? What I'm saying though.
I mean, that's still a
He ain't gonna answer that, Pelage. Look, this is what I'm gonna do because two people in waiting, so like, I might have to get like two people to fall off.
Take me off, forecast. Take me
All
off.
right, and then I'm
Take
gonna
me
let
off.
no.
and then look, Matthew. I know I'm gonna have to set it up for later so you can
You
come
mean to
on
take
or
off,
whatever and talk about the my bad, Pelage, my bad, and talk about the critical race theory. Even though I know you're probably not gonna talk about it, but we'll have to
No,
set it up. And if you
I
want me to come on one of the panel that
research
somebody
a little more.
I will. But I'm gonna let everybody do their thing. But let me ask you, and I'm gonna let Road Demars because they've been waiting in the back, and then I'm gonna let Cesaro come on. So I might have to get one more person to go off after that. After whatchamacallit go on. But Matthew, can we at least agree on one thing? You know what I'm saying? That President Obama had the most beautiful first lady ever.
Yes,
All
I'll
right.
agree with you on that because Barbara Bush was some old hag.
All
Yeah,
right.
I agree with you on that. Well, I don't know. Trump's wife is pretty good looking.
Yeah, right. You can't even see her face. But anyway, go ahead, bro.
For the Botox, yeah.
Go ahead, Roll Mars, and then I'm gonna let
Yeah.
everybody go
So
ahead.
hey, so yeah, how you doing? How you doing, Matthew? So I
But
kind of
before,
wanted to get back. Sorry, say that again.
what's the point of your show forecast? Is it just a debate show?
No, it's to mind our business and do what we want to do. That's the point.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead.
All
Go
right,
ahead. Go ahead,
Matthew.
Roll Mars.
Can you hear me, Matthew?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you were giving your your definition of critical race theory. I kind of want to get back on that, and what your issue with it being taught in a college curriculum. Could you please go over that and let's talk about that, please.
Because I mean, all you're doing is teaching hate. I mean, well, out forecast don't want to say hate, but you're teaching people to not like it, not like each other. You're giving them more reason to look down on the other race than you are if you was to teach them how to become something of themselves.
Okay, so give me if you can, give me examples of how critical race theory teaches one race to hate the other.
Because it puts confusion out there. I didn't own a slave. My grandpa didn't own a slave. Now I'm sure that if you went back, kept going back, that you could find slaves. But my grandpa has had he's dead now, but he had scars running up his arms. And I asked him one day what that was from, and he said that's from picking cotton because he grew
Matthew,
up
I
in
don't
a
mean to keep cutting you off, but
Oh,
you
oh,
keep like sounding like sob stories, and we don't really care about your like
well, yeah, yeah.
grandfather.
Let him, yeah, let him talk. Cause I want
but
to kind of
he
get
talked
into his
about
mind as to.
how middle America was built off of welfare. I mean, I got a work ethic from my grandpa to work. You do a hard day's work, you get a good day's pay.
Okay, all right. So all of
And if
these. Okay,
if the theory,
hold
I
on.
mean, let's say you don't critical race Oh, brother, because
Okay,
you're trying
okay,
to teach
so
anti-racism is what you're trying to teach, right?
No,
are you sure
we're
is that
teaching
what?
self love, and we over here I teach self love and self determination and self autonomy.
Okay, so you're saying that. So did you ask that question of critical race theory? Are you saying that, or were you asking that of forecast? That that did you ask? Did you put that question to him? That's what I'm
No, I did
asking
not.
you.
I put critical race theory. It causes a lot of confusion between the races. Therefore, it's creating racism within itself.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, do you believe that when you go to Germany, they teach the history, what happened, and with Hitler, the Holocaust. Do you feel that should be taught? Because
Absolutely.
okay. So what's your well that's you're being hypocritical. So it's okay to teach that history, okay? Because that is a form of critical race theory. Okay, they're teaching the German youth what happened. How these people were systematically murdered in death camps. Okay, so critical race theory, and I have a problem with the name. I think it should be critical race studies because it's not a theory; it's a fact, and it should be taught. It shows one group, one tribe, conquering another tribe, which is in this case is Europeans, and what they did and how they systematically and brutally oppressed and enslaved another group of people. They deny their humanity. Because Black Americans are a plundered and plundered group. We're a conquered and plundered group. Okay, and this is what white Europeans did to Black people collectively. So when you look at all of the pathologies that are, that happen in certain communities, in certain Black enclaves, okay, like Chicago, like Baltimore, the rampant crime, the collapsed patriarchy, the poverty. Okay, this is the result of white malfeasance, and so you force your curriculum, you force the study of your history, your heroes. I can name all the presidents. I can name all of I know the words of the Pledge Allegiance, but I'm sure you couldn't name five of our Black heroes or our prominent Black people that are important to us. But your
Was
history
Med
is forced down.
was
Your
Medgar
history is
Evers
forced. I'm sorry.
was Medgar Evers important to you?
Okay, that's one. Okay, give me four more.
Martin Luther King Jr. Let's see, Medgar Evers isn't a highly known
Okay,
man.
give me three more.
Well, obviously Al Sharpton's
Okay,
going to.
so that's my point.
My
That's
man
my
said Al
point.
Sharpton.
Okay, so when when we
Muhammad
go to
Ali
school,
was
when we go to no. Okay, he's an athlete. Stop. He's an
he's an
athlete. Okay.
athlete, but he still stood
Okay.
up
So
for what
let's
he believes.
okay. So hold on. Let's okay. So now so you made a comment about you disagree with the statutes being those Confederate statues being pulled down and all that. But see, here's the thing: you're forcing your critical race theory down our throats. Okay, we're forced to walk out and we see the Robert E. Lees or all of these Confederate all these Civil War heroes that were traitors to the nation, and you guys are proud of that. Okay, you have no problem with that history being taught, and it's you're a hypocrite. So when we want to tell our story, when we want to let okay, well, this is what happened, and this is how it impacted us. Okay, you try to block that information from being put out there. Okay, and that's what critical race theory is. It's not teaching hate. Now, if as a result, of learning the truth, Black people or a Black child may feel some kind of way about white people and their system. I mean, okay, it is what it is. But it's basically you guys trying to cover up, your dirty laundry, and the fact that you're so, just like with them modifying the books in Texas, okay. The school board, you guys tried to be sneaky about that, calling slaves immigrants. Okay, you guys are trying to, you're trying to erase your history here. You guys want to be, looked at as these angels, these people who bring, freedom and morality to the world. You are the light on the shining hill, and you guys are full of shit. And when you do that, it just really shows how the fact that you don't want to teach the history with all the warts. Because I agree with you. I don't want the statues taken down, because I want them to stay up. It's a reminder of how we got here and what you guys did. Okay, and but if we're going to teach history, it needs to be taught with all of its warts. And we don't candy coat or sugarcoat anything. We tell the story of how we got here, and because here's the thing, sir. Okay, one of the reasons why one of the reasons why you don't want it taught is because there is a justice claim that Black people are starting to become more vocal about, and that's reparations. Okay, because you sound like one of those guys, because you're making this argument about how hard you work and you didn't own slaves and all of that, and but you still owe the debt, because everything around you, when you look outside and you see these well-paved roads, these neighborhoods that are and these well-manicured streets, I'm sure you probably live in a nice neighborhood. Okay, all of that was all of that was built on the backs of my people. And when you go to certain enclaves, Black enclaves, they weren't able to take their labor that your people stole from my people, to build up their neighborhoods, to build up their people, to maintain their families. Okay, there's a debt that's owed, and you guys don't want to pay it. You want to eat at the banquet table of conquest, but you don't want to pay the check. And so, critical race theory isn't about teaching hate. It's about teaching the truth. What happened? How we got here? What one group of people did to the other did to the others? Okay.
Eating at the banquet.
All right, go ahead, Matthew.
I dropped my
If
phone.
you
Drop. You said eating at the banquet.
Yeah. White Europeans,
there?
white people. Yeah, I'm here. I said white people want to eat at the banquet table of conquest, but they don't want to pay the check. And so you guys engage in all these intellectual dishonest, conversations about, well, critical race theory teaches hate, and it teaches, white people to be ashamed of themselves. Well, that's not the intent.
Did y'all stop talking?
I don't know. I guess he can't hear you, Tom. Well, he at least acting.
Can you hear me?
I don't know. I guess he can.
Can you hear me? So
Matt, you got to go.
I didn't mean to get long. I apologize for being long-winded like that, and I'm going to give you a chance to respond. So anyway, go ahead. Did he leave, or?
Nah, he acting like he can't hear. But we got to go out and come back in. But he got to hurry up, because it's already late. And then I'm gonna let all
Matthew.
of y'all say.
Matthew, are you there?
I'm here.
All right.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, Matthew.
You was talking about sitting at the table, the banquet, and everything dropped from there.
Yeah. Anyway, this he don't really care. Like, we're gonna have to set up another show, because this was supposed to be what?
Your view of it. I understand that. I understand that this country owns slaves, that they made them do the work. And
Matthew, bottom line, right? Because I got to really get off here soon. Did Christopher Columbus discover America?
No.
How did America build as well?
by stealing.
Do you think that you got any benefits of that stealing? It's not like a rocket science question.
Well, and you sit there. If I say no, you're going to
Be honest. Just be honest. That's the only way you can go. Be honest.
I got what I've got because I worked for it.
Did you have the
You honestly believe that?
Hold on. Do you think that you got the opportunity
Wow.
that you got? But how do you think those came about?
And you want me to say because
I
I'm
want you to
right
say
now.
what you want to. I want you to say everything you want to say. How did you get? Did those opportunities just magically pop up? Like
Those opportunities rose up because I was a poor white boy growing up. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of people that I could say, hey, I know so and so. It was because of my hard work, me working late, me showing that I had a good work ethic. It wasn't because my grandpa knew so and so. It was because of my hard work. And I'm sorry that there are people that get privileges handed to them, but that's still not my fault as a whole. Now
so.
there
Do
may
you?
be a certain percentage that do have that opportunity, but if you were given that same opportunity, would you say no, give it to the man that really wants it more than I deserve it, or more than I need it, or more than whatever their reason may be?
All right. So let me
Oh,
ask you this: Do you think that you got a certain privilege more so than everybody else?
I do not.
let me ask you this, Matthew. Okay, if you moved to another country, okay, you became a citizen of that country, do you feel that you're responsible for that country's debts? Yes or no?
I would not want to leave America, but if I was to choose to leave America, if I became part of that country, then I would say yes. I mean, if I want to jump in, then yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So why? Hold on. Wait a minute. So why do you feel that you're not responsible? Okay, because again, you're making that argument. You worked hard for this. You sound like one of those guys who says, well, look, I understand that slavery happened. Okay, you guys were oppressed, but I didn't own any slaves, and so I don't feel that I should be responsible for reparations and the debt that's owed to Black Americans because I didn't do it. My ancestors did that. But you do acknowledge that a debt is owed, but you just feel that you don't owe it. But you're a part of this nation. This
Okay.
nation owes the debt to us. Okay.
I'm
It needs to be paid.
I'm getting where you're going.
Okay.
A forecast is going to say I don't want to hear your pity party story, but my father was killed when I was 9 years old, so I don't have those memories that I could have had. Does that family owe me what those memories could cost?
That's a false equivalent, sir. We're talking about the rape, pillage, and plunder of your ancestors. Okay, your forefathers. And so you inherited the benefit of that. You inherited all these nice little goodies, an intact society, a system that works for you. Okay, and there is such a thing as white privilege, and we've inherited
Got my card in my pocket.
we we've inherited the poverty, the pathology, okay, of being a plundered group. Okay, so to correct that and you say you're a Christian man, you believe in the Bible and all that, and the Bible is all about justice and retribution and all of that.
Justice.
And
what is justice?
Justice is well, when you I just when you're reading the Bible and you're a man who believes in the Bible, the Bible is all about, well, when you take a man's goat, that needs to be restored. When something is done to someone, you have to make it right. You have to restore whatever it is that. So you're okay. Since you believe that, you can't. Okay, if you're hold on, wait a minute. If you're principled, if you're principled,
happening.
if you're principled, okay, and you're intellectually honest and consistent about your belief system, the Bible, if then you cannot rationally argue that white people, or this country doesn't owe black people, particularly American descendants of slaves, reparations.
What
And
would it do if you give, just say, according to critical race theory, blacks are deprived and they live in poverty because of the white man.
Yes.
Because of being took from their homes and then not given the opportunity to own land, so on and so forth. Okay, what would be a number that would be sufficient to say, all right, here it is, we're sorry?
The number has been calculated by economists, both black and European alike, and the number is huge, sir. It's in the trillions. When you compound the interest is huge. And the thing about it is that
that cannot be, therefore, right?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Hold on. Hey, Matthew. So what is your reason that you think black people are poor, or like in the lower social class? What is your reason for that?
I grew up in Hillsboro, Mississippi.
Lord have mercy. What is your reason for thinking we are poor?
And like I say, I grew up just as poor as, that was growing up in school.
Dude, hold on. Before you go down this road, I'm gonna take this poor stuff away. Do you know that it was the poor white people who was committing all of the massacres on black towns because they were saying, look at this black man with a piano. How dare you better than me? Look up the Cincinnati, Ohio race riot. Look up all of the race riots from the 1800s. It was the poor white people such as yourself massacring these people. Now, if I did something to violate you or commit physical violence to you, do you think I should pay you restoration?
Of course not, because I wouldn't appreciate it.
So I'm saying, if I was to come and do physical harm to you, should I pay you restoration?
That's Matthew, come on, dude. That's the way the law works. Okay, when look, hey, if hold on, wait a minute. Okay, let's say, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, Matt, with all due respect, sir, and I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm going to let you, I just want to respond, and then I'll let you put a button on that. Let's say that, I don't know, I had one too many beers, and I drive off the road and I run into the side of your house. Okay, and I destroy, I run my car through your living room. Okay, the law is going to, and you'd have a claim, and rightfully so, that I would have to restore, but because of my actions, my irresponsibility, whether it was negligent or intentional, that I fixed that. Okay, and whether and it doesn't matter how I feel about it. It's the law. It's what's right and just. Okay, so when you have one group of to this day, Germany's paying reparations to Holocaust survivors. Okay, the Japanese were paid reparations for because they were placed in internment camps. Okay, the Native American Indians, they're getting their form of restitution, right? With government handouts and land and all of that. The only plundered group that hasn't received reparations are Americans descendant of slaves. Even the slave owners, okay, when we were freed, okay, when we were no longer the property of white people, white people were paid reparations for the loss of their property. Did you know that, sir?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay, so how are you going to make an argument that the people whom they enslaved, okay, whom they got over 250 years of free labor, labor and work that we did not get to, we didn't benefit from that. We didn't get to pass that on to our children. That's why we're poor now. That's why we're disproportionately poor. How are you going to make the argument as a Christian man that you don't owe us anything, and you are a citizen of America, so you are responsible for its debts? Yes, you are. Okay, so when black people see this, okay, we look at you sideways, and this is what critical race theory teaches. It teaches that it teaches this, and it teaches how those of your ilk with political axes to grind will try to weasel and squirm their way out of responsibility. And this is no, you're not going to do this. This is what happened,
Thank you,
and this
Shanique.
is how it happened, and you need to make this right. And we're trying to educate you as to why it's right, why it's just. That's what critical race theory is. It's not teaching black kids that hate white people. It's teaching black kids and white kids how we got here.
Okay. When did they start critical race theory?
Critical race theory started when you first brought the slaves over here. Critical race theory started when blacks were made 3/5 of a human being. We were livestock. We were chattel. When we were, when you stripped us of our humanity, you raped and you critical race theory when you guys slaughtered the Indians and took their land. That's when it started, sir. We didn't start it. You guys started it. I mean, these are facts. So, I don't understand what your problem is with it. If you're a man who's principled and you're about truth, you're about the belief in your God, okay, you should have no problem with owning up to what you're, because even in the Bible, it talks about this, the children having to pay for the sins of the father. So you should not be mad at black people demanding their rights, asserting their rights, demanding justice, and demanding what's owed to them. You should be angry with your forefathers, sir.
But
we are the only people who have not been paid reparations. Even the slave owners were paid. Matter of fact, when you go to England, okay, I believe it was it was last year. The last reparations payment to slave owners were the British government paid out, cut checks to their descendants. I'm not pulling that out of my ass. This is true. And when you think about it, and it's outrageous, sir. So yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh no, it's all right. I was just gonna let him go ahead because it's like real late now. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Matthew. Can you answer anything that he said, like so eloquently? Can you answer any of that?
I mean, it still points back to you're talking about. I mean, we're stuff happened. I'm not doubting. Yeah. I'm not saying that people didn't own slaves. I'm not saying that, but of course you'll sit there and say, well, that's the common answer of the white man. I didn't own slaves,
mm-hmm.
and I'm sorry, but if my mother owned something and she couldn't pay the debt and foreclosed on it because she didn't have enough money to pay for it, and then somebody else bought it out of foreclosure, I can't sit there and say, well, I want that back. That's mine. That was my mama's.
I don't really understand where you were going with it, but I think I know what you're saying. So let me respond, or let me answer that with this, or throw this at you. Okay. So the Germans today, okay, all the Germans living today, most of the Germans living today had nothing to do with the Holocaust. Okay, but they're still paying reparations. It comes out of their taxes. Their nation is paying those people. and and they're going to continue paying until the debt is fully paid. Okay. My people had nothing to do with the, Japanese being interred in camps. My people had nothing to do with what you guys did to the Indians. But you know what? My tax dollars goes to, paying those, went to paying the reparations for Japanese people, and it goes to the, the Bureau of Indian Affairs and all the stuff that they do to, honor or pay the debts or the treaties that were made with Indians. My people had nothing to do with that. But you know what? My tax dollars goes to paying the debts of the malfeasance of what your people did. When I think of that, and if you are a principled man, you should really think about that, and it should outrage you. So
Yeah, he's not
Do I
principled at
stop?
all.
Do I stop working and
no, you
stop
don't.
Look,
taxing?
No, we don't want you to stop working.
Because
We want you to pay your taxes,
but
and we
that's
want those tax
yeah,
dollars to start.
my ancestors.
We
Should I stop
we
working, stop paying taxes because I didn't do
no,
that?
you gonna Matt, you gonna need to keep working and pay taxes
yeah
because that tax money is coming to our reparations. So you're gonna have to fund that. So I need you
yeah.
to go to sleep and get up and go to work early in the morning so we can get that money.
So
So
what?
look,
What?
Matt, look, let me say this because, like I said, it's already late. I don't know if my brother Bakar is still on here. I don't want him to say what he got to say. But Matt, you keep talking about I didn't own slaves. Do you know the people that didn't own slaves hated? They called them or Negroes. They hated Negroes even more because they could not compete with jobs because they was more skilled and they got paid for less. So you saying I did not own slaves is not a badge of honor. You would be the most violent person. You know what I'm saying? The people who own slaves were less violent than the people who didn't. So that's no excuse or none of that. So, and let me ask you this one question. So, how again? Because I cut you off. It was my fault. How did why, in your estimation, why are black people poor?
Why are black people poor? I could not tell you because I'm not black. I mean, like I say, it's not the choice of life. Now, in today's society, with the equal opportunity that's there, I'm sorry, but it's a choice, is what it is.
And you don't think it's generational. You just
It's
like every
if a
generation they
black
make their own
if
money.
a
Then no
black man
money is passed down to that.
went to college to become a doctor, and he became a doctor and went and applied for a hospital job to be a doctor, he may have to start at the bottom of the chain, bottom of the ladder, but if he puts forth the work, then he's not going to be poor.
All right,
There's a
whatever.
lot
I
of
don't know
people
what
that
you're
are just
talking
as
about because
poor.
you keep saying irrelevant stuff. Bakari, we're gonna have to do this another time because the show was originally not supposed to be about this. So if you want to come on, or I'll come on your show, or somebody you know show, or whatever, to make it fair. But if you want to come back on
Well,
tomorrow to
our
really
show
talk about the critical race theory, you can do that. I don't know if you're still there, Bakari. You still there?
Yeah, if
Yeah, man, I was still here.
Yeah,
I'm
because
about
I'm
to,
about to go.
I'm about to get off here and listen offline. I keep telling you, and look, but I can tell you this: you got to appreciate Matthew. He is not gonna go against his own people. It ain't nothing wrong with that. You supposed to stand up for you. Don't care how many lies you got to tell, or how many lies
I,
you got to stand with. Matthew, you stood with it. It ain't nothing wrong
I,
with
I
that.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. But I
Disagree with
believe
what?
if it's like this. If if he's claiming to be this morally upright, Christian person, he's going to, stand on the side of truth, and that's what critical race theory is. It's telling the truth, what happened, and so for him to make these intellectually dishonest arguments that he's making, he tells me that he's not a principled man, or and is it intentional? I don't know. I don't know his heart. it could be, he just doesn't know better. He does, and he's trying to, maybe that's why he's here. Maybe that's why he's, he wants to learn. But,
Let me show you
a lot
something.
of this.
His morals, I'm going to say this, I'm finna go. Like, the one thing I've learned, right, being morally correct really ain't got black folks nowhere. His morals,
I
I'm
agree
going to
with
show
you on
you
that.
his morals.
I agree with you on that.
His
I agree with you.
morals is for him to stand with his people. That's why I said he was good. His morals don't care how many lies he got to agree with. His morals is for him to agree with that, because as long as he agree with it, he gonna benefit. That's all I wanted to say. Now I'm gonna listen offline, man.
All right,
Nice
Messiah.
meeting
Peace out, my brother.
Matthew, and the road tomorrow. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah. Nice meeting you.
All right.
All right,
All right, Matthew, do you want to come back on here another time? I know it seemed like you got jumped, but I don't really care.
No,
Do you want
like I
to
say, I'd love to. I mean, like I say, if we can come to an understanding and you educate me, so that, like I say, racism is taught. Growing up, seeing that how my grandpa or how my daddy, my mama, whoever treats black people, that's engraved into my character, into my heart. And like I say, I don't want that for my youngin. I don't want my youngin to hate somebody because of the color of their skin. I want my youngin to decide on that man how he is, how he works, how he treats other people, and make up his mind whether he wants to be that man's friend or don't have nothing to do with that man. I don't want him hating him.
Yeah, well, we already
Well,
discussed this whole
yeah,
topic of
yeah.
hate, this whole
I,
topic of critical race theory. You still haven't really said anything that
I
you're.
don't, Matthew, I don't believe that racism is about hate. To be honest, it's about economics. See,
Misguidance.
I'm
Fear.
sorry.
It's misguidance. It's like Forecast was saying, being scared that somebody's going to be better than you or have more than you, so you use whatever tactics you can to bring them back down, either to your level or below you. And
Okay. So there is a history of this. I mean, this country is built on slavery, and capitalism, and profit. Okay, so and the beneficiaries, of that system, have overwhelmingly been white people. Okay, and you guys have employed all manner of wickedness and brutality, and these are facts. And critical race theory just wants to teach it the way that it is, how it happened. Okay, there's no candy coating it. It talks about the all of the atrocities. Because if we're going to talk about the heroes and all the the people who wanted to abolish it and all the good and the good things that they supposedly did, well, we need to talk about all the we need to talk about the villains and their wicked evil deeds. Okay, and that's what white people seem to have an issue with. They don't want that taught. They want this sanitized version of history where that doesn't paint them in such a negative light, and that's not going to fly, sir. It needs, and I personally I would change the name from critical race theory to critical race studies, and instead of it being taught at the collegiate level, it needs to be taught at the at the grade school and high school level, which currently it isn't. So, but that with that said, hey, thank you for the debate, and I look forward to engaging you some other time.
and like I say, I'm going to better educate myself and get me a better opinion of all this, so that I won't be wasting your time or Forecast time. Or, I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
I say, I don't hate none of y'all, but like you say, whoever the gentleman's name was that said he's not going to think no more about me, that's not the type of person I am. Because tomorrow I'm going to be wondering, not how can I win this argument, but how can I apply this to my life into my children's life, so it makes us better people.
All right, and look, not to go down the rabbit hole because we got to end this. And
Right.
like I said, you can come on tomorrow if you want to, and we'll have it more organized because the show was supposed to be about something else. But let me ask you this before you go though, right? How do you feel about what happened to Trayvon Martin?
To the what?
You know who Trayvon Martin is?
No, sir. I'm pretty sheltered on the
You don't know who
news.
Trayvon is. You know who George
That's
Zimmerman is?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of hard to believe, sir.
Right.
I mean that was nationwide news.
Okay, so how do you feel about what happened to I mean, you could pick a name like Tamir Rice. Do you know who
George
Tamir
Floyd.
Rice is?
I know about George Floyd.
Do you know who Tamir Rice is?
I've heard the name, but like I say,
Yeah, that's full of it, bro. Like, okay, how do you feel about what happened to George Floyd?
I think he was in a bad position, and the cops got called because he was trying to pay for something with counterfeit money, and he got put in a situation that could have been prevented if the cops would have had more morals about themselves. But of course, they were put in a situation where they were scared, and the only
So,
way that they knew how to handle that fear was
How?
hold on, let him finish. Let him
They,
get it out. Go ahead.
okay.
the only way that they knew how to handle that fear was overpowering this man, and whether he died from the man kneeling on him or being high on drugs or whatever, he didn't deserve to die because
But do you
he,
think it
human
was?
he's a
Do you think
human
the
being.
cop was justified though? Do you think the cop was justified?
I would say it was made more of a big deal than it should have been, because if
So you're
George
saying so the answer is yes. You think it was justified?
yeah, I mean, if in the eyes of the family, probably not,
Okay, so listen. Okay,
as
okay,
far as
because that's all you had to say. You keep
about
saying
George
long
Floyd's family,
stories about yes or no answers. My point is right. So if I think that wasn't justified, and you think that was justified, what is the medium solution?
I reckon. I mean, I don't know what the medium solution
Well,
was. So
should it be like we should be in two different societies because you think that killing unarmed black people is justified and I don't? Do you think that
And,
we should be in two different societies because we shouldn't be under the same government who thinks that that's okay? Do you think that's or is that racist too?
and Matthew, and I've got a comment on this. The fact that you honestly uh, feel and you believe this, because you just asserted that you feel that that it was justified, that the cop was in the right,
no, the
shows
cop
that
was wrong.
okay,
Okay,
maybe
I
I
don't believe
misheard you. Go
the
ahead.
cop was right. Now he abused his authority. He abused his whatever. And like I said, the four men that was standing on the sidewalk watching this happen abused their positions because they could have said, "Hey, man, get off of him! Stop this!" And if you want to put it into the other hands, the people videoing it abused their rights as Americans. They may have gotten killed. The police officers may have shot him, but if they would have fought for George Floyd, why didn't they fight for George Floyd? Because they didn't care. All they wanted to do was get something to put on YouTube.
Why didn't who fight for George Floyd?
The people that were videoing all this.
That's a good question because that's what we tell them all the time. Because ain't nobody gonna respect you if you just standing there recording instead of just going up and kick them in the face. Am I right? Am I right about
But
that,
yeah,
Matthew? That's
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
saying we should do. We
somebody would
should.
have
yeah.
kicked Siobhan in the face.
Matthew, are you saying we should go up and kick these cops in the face when we see them harassing one of our people? Is that what you're telling us to do?
Of course not, because
So
they
what should we do? If we can't stand there and record, and we shouldn't go protect them.
That,
What should we do?
now
let me ask.
it's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
situation by situation. You see a man, a human being's life in danger, then I would intervene. I mean, this ain't
Let me
what would you do?
Yeah. Now, you said you would intervene. Let me ask you this: do you know you about the was it Daniel Shaver case? I
Derek.
mean, have you? Yeah, the Daniel. It
I
was
bet you
Daniel
know about
Shaver.
his name. You know
Daniel
all these. You
Shaver.
know his name, but you don't know Trayvon Martin, but you know Derek Chauvin. All right.
Yeah, Daniel Shaver. The Daniel Shaver. He's the guy who was killed in the hotel hallway by a cop.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know about him, Matthew?
No.
You hear about that case? Okay. When you get off here, look that up and watch the video on that, and just how brutal. And and this is a white guy. Okay, that was murdered by the cop. All right. Okay. And this cop did not face any type of he got off. He was allowed to retire. He's getting a fat pension, and that was a murder. Okay, now if I could look at that and feel some kind of way, if that can affect me viscerally as a black man, to see that this white man was murdered by this rogue, out of control government of ours. It's hard for me to wrap my head around people who claim to be, morally upright. They can't see when our people are being,
How,
systematically
how
murdered.
much was that death, or that was it publicized as much as the George Floyd case?
It was, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's brutal. So I don't
Was
know how
a
you
monument made for that man?
not it didn't go viral like the Floyd thing. And I think Floyd was just that straw, that last straw, and
Right.
people
But
had enough. It was a perfect,
his
you know.
lifestyle put him in that situation. It was his choice to try
You're
to
talking.
George Floyd. It was a choice that he made. It wasn't a choice that I made that put him in that situation. It was a choice.
So
But
if
but
I
we're not talking about choices, because look, when we look at the the Daniel Shaver case. I mean, he was just just your average Joe, working guy, and he was murdered by the cops, and those cops were not held accountable. Okay, they went above and beyond what was justified, what's justifiable as far as the use of force, and they murdered him. Okay, so I don't give a rat's ass what if Floyd was passing a counterfeit bill. He had a drug problem, um, and did not deserve to die like that. Okay, and it wasn't the cops. The cops had no authority to be judge, jury, and executioner. Their job was to bring him in safely if they felt that he had committed a crime, and bring him before a judge, and and that case should have been adjudicated before his juries of his peers. Okay, that didn't happen. He was murdered right there on the street. This white cop was leaning on his neck. Okay, those are the facts. So you can make all these moral arguments about his lifestyle and all of that, and he wasn't a danger to the cop. He wasn't violent. And you said something about the cop was probably afraid. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
at Road to Mars, I don't want to cut you off, but and I
yeah,
know he
yeah.
really don't really care about what you're saying, and he, will think about, and I could ask you about, do you think Muhammad Noor should be guilty? But I'm pretty sure you don't know who that is. You know who Justine Damon is?
No, sir.
Okay, well, that's for another time. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, you can come back on here. My email is in there, or you can go back to that comment and get in contact with me if you want to come back on here, and we'll actually talk about critical race theory, because I know you got talking points like for example, like racism ended with Obama or whatever. That's one of your talking points, huh?
Like I say, racism is not gonna end. It's not gonna. It's
But
just a
but 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 you're trying to say that the racism is not towards black people, it's towards white people now, right?
no.
Okay.
It's a person's choice how they want to feel towards another person.
but you are not saying that it's not institutional.
You're talking about being.
Racism is not institutional.
I would say no, because I haven't had to deal with
Well,
that
that's the
certain
point. That would be the point, though.
but
But
in
anyway, like I
instance,
said,
uh, when I
huh?
served in the military, our color was green.
Yeah, that was until like they wanted to go fit in with the white troops and they got kicked out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
that is
but
until they wanted to do something to stand up for themselves and they got court-martialed. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course you don't deal with it, which is pretty much proving the point. And by you saying that you don't know all of this information that you claim you don't know, which I don't believe, that you don't even realize that you're proving the fact that you need critical race theory more than us. But I also want all of y'all to recognize it's not about trying to convince somebody or convince him. I want you to see how their tactics are, how they use deflection, how they use willful ignorance, but they also are aware of the things that they want to know. But these are the people who created this system. He knows about the laws and all of this stuff if you put it down to him, but he's not going to straight up tell you that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be against reparations, but he's going to have to pay reparations whether he likes it or not. You know what I'm saying? Do you agree with that?
well, if they make it a law and it has to come out of my taxes, of course someone has to pay it.
Do
Whether I
you
like
hold on? Do you agree with Jewish reparations?
yeah, I didn't. No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, that was all I was asking. Do you agree with that? All
So,
right, but
so
like I said, we're
as
not.
so as soon as you can, as soon as you conclude this this stream, look up Daniel Shaver. Um,
I've got him pulled up right now.
okay, and watch the video on that, the uncut video. And if you know, and that if you're a moral man, that should outrage you. And see, that's what black people go through, in this country every day. Okay, and these guys, these cops, mostly white cops, they're not held accountable, and that's systemic, sir. That's a problem. That's a
All right.
problem.
Yeah, definitely. Time to work. Thank you for coming in because you dropped a lot of good knowledge and you spoke, eloquent, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you. I appreciate Bakari and my brother Adal and Blue. Matthew, since you don't think that is racism is systemic, then you can come on and it'll be a one-on-one conversation and we'll eventually open the phone lines up if you can do it tomorrow if you want, you know what I'm saying? So do you want to do that?
What time are you going to do this?
It'll probably be like 9:30.
Okay, it's 12:37 where I am right now. Is it the same time?
Nah, it's 2 o'clock. I'm on East Coast time.
Okay, so you're 2 hours ahead of me, so it'll be 11.
It'll be about 7 for
Yeah,
you.
7:30. Okay, I'll be looking for you, boss man.
All
All
right.
right, thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, bye.
All right,
All right,
y'all.
forecast. Hey, man, you got my email, and you got my number too. I gave you my number, man. So call me, hit me up, let me know when you want me on, and and I'll jump on.
Yeah, time to work, man. I appreciate all the support you've been showing me for all these years, for real, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, keep it up, because I want your channel to go viral, and I'm still trying to get my system, my channels up, and all of that. I'm still working on it. I'm almost finished. I got my website done, but I want to synergistically work with your channel because because like, we have all these great channels like Sergeant Willie Pete, Pink Book Lessons, Kevin Samuels, and all their channels have gone viral, and we got Professor Black Truth, we got the Black Authority, and because your videos are excellent. I mean, a lot of your videos I download them because just in case the powers that be want to take your channel off, and that's going to also help your channel get go viral at some point. Because when I start talking about the issues I'm going to address a lot of the topics you brought up in your videos. But your videos are excellent. I mean, like some of the history lessons you've given, man. There was shit that I didn't know, and I consider myself to be a well-read guy. You know. And so yeah, keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, everybody who I can't put the videos on the forecast channel no more because YouTube
Yeah.
like to give me strikes and blacklist me and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
y'all subscribe to the backup channel, the Forecast Radio 24. I still put up the videos over there. I just had a live premiere Monday, so y'all can check out all of the videos over there. And yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, my brother, for real, man. Much
Yeah.
respect. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shanique said, "Yeah, I can't stop watching. I'm going to bed late, but it was worth it." Yeah, me too, Shanique. I was supposed to get off here like 2 hours ago, but it is what it is. We're gonna have to set up a show for that. You know what I'm saying, and be more prepared, and not have y'all call in and talk to him or whatever. But at least
Yeah.
that white boy had enough courage to come over here, because usually when I
Yeah.
start dropping knowledge, they go running. But they're always
Yeah.
going to deflect and never actually address any question. You ask them like, is the sky blue? He's like, oh, my grandfather, you know, worked in slave
Yeah.
fields and had a cut on his arm from 10 years
Yeah.
ago. Like what? That's how they do. And I want y'all to see that. But there's no reasoning with them. It's use them for educational purposes. Don't argue or try to debate somebody to change their beliefs, but use them as a lesson to teach other people. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'll be more prepared with all of that stuff. So you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah,
man.
thank you, Road to Mars. I appreciate it. Blue,
Yeah.
Shanique, Pelage, my brother Bakari, a dog. Thanks for coming on, Pelage. I appreciate you for sending the thing. But man, much love to all of y'all, man. It's a 4-hour stream. I ain't never did no 4-hour stream. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, much love to all of y'all, man. And
Okay.
as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.
Yeah. That's real talk.